What kind of plan would you have for this freshman who was studying for a final?
One of the prime responsibilities of teaching is to equip students with the tools they'll need to build productive lives on their own. In large part, this means nurturing students' innate desire to manage themselves. Of all the skills students learn in school, this may be the most challenging.
Fostering student responsibility for self-management might ultimately be the place we want to go with classroom management. It's one thing to have the teacher in the school develop strategies that are conducive to student learning, but what we want is for students to be able to manage themselves, even when someone is not there managing them. There are some who believe that without doing this, we miss one of the critical opportunities that schools have to provide students with a true life skill, something that not only works in a K-12 classroom, but it will work in almost any environment of their life.
Signing my point sheet at the end of the day.
During their school years, students must learn that they're responsible for their own behavior. And to this end, they must be given guidance in developing skills with which to do this. Studies show that students with good self-management skills excel academically, participate actively in class, and are seldom disruptive.
If they know that you're coming in and you need help, then they understand you better.
What will you do next after you have all your materials? Jelani?
Make a hypothesis.
Come up with a hypothesis. Good morning, everybody.
The research suggests several general classroom procedures that teachers can use to foster student self-management. One is to use a language of responsibility for students' actions. John Wallen encourages his 9th grade science students to feel a sense of ownership in the classroom.
We invent processes. We make sure that they have the power to set class processes. The process, for example, of handing out folders, that's their process. I don't even think about it anymore because it's their process that they invented that first 2 weeks of school. You'll be planning your own lab today. So we're going to test the things that you want to test. I don't want to test the things from the textbook. I want to test the things that come from you. And the more ownership that they feel that they have, the more apt they are to do the individual things that lead them to being individually responsible for their learning.
John Wallen builds his students' sense of responsibility by having them track their academic progress and their personal behavior in data folders.
We collect data in many different ways, and we use that data to find out how we're doing. What's the purpose of this lab?
To find out what's acid or base.
Yeah, to find out if they're acids or bases. Are you taking your participation point for participating? I sure hope you are, because they keep track of their personal points. That includes their participation in class. That includes being prepared and on time and attending class. And we'll include all the other grades for the week and then report back to them their weekly average. They'll keep track of that also in graph form so that they know that there's a connection between the personal points and their success in class.
I feel like I'm in charge of my own points. That's how I feel. Like if I keep control of my points, that means that I'm getting a good grade and that I know I am.
I like how we do it because every week they give us what grades we have. If I got a bad grade, I could try to get it up.
Are bases like thick and acids like liquids?
Again, I could probably give you the answer, but would you remember it better if you found out or if I gave you the answer?
You found out.
You found out. Once they start keeping track of their own behaviors and keeping track of what they're doing in the class, it seems to make a big difference in how they approach the class. It's their class, not mine. And so when there's a disruption in the class, it's a disruption to their class, not a disruption to my class. Come up with a procedure by which we can use this litmus paper to safely test the unknown acids and bases that we have on our list. Edgar.
Toilet paper.
And how would you use toilet paper, Edgar?
You get the toilet paper, you put the...
John has seen significant improvement in student performance since adopting procedures that focus on student responsibility. His class increased their performance on district assessments by 20%.
I'm going to get you dangerous substance here. You ready? Dangerous substance, school water.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, school water.
That's really dangerous.
Along with responsibility demands maturity. You see the change in individual students as they take on responsibility. They do better. They're more mature acting in class.
John's students are developing a whole new perspective on their role as learners.
Edgar, you're inventing the process. By the way, who's the worker in this classroom? We are. Yeah. You are the workers in here. You know, I just stand up here and provide you with opportunities.
At least once a day, I remind them that they're the workers in the class, and it's my job to make sure that they make it someplace, that they actually learn something, but it's their job to get the work done and to keep track of what they're doing, and they're individually responsible for their own learning, which in fact they are.
When we first heard the term, we were the workers, and like they give us our choices to be what we to be successful or not successful in this class, and it's all up to you.
I am not going to do the test. I am not going to have Miss Hughes tell you which ones are S's or bases. That will be your job to do in your groups.
If schools and teachers try to foster student responsibility for their own behavior, they give students opportunities to be in control of their learning. They give students opportunity to have some say in the carrying out of rules and procedures.
Mr. Wallner, I think they did a really good job
Yeah, I
today.
do too. You guys have done a really nice job. How many people think they learned how to do this today? Hands up high. Good job. You've done a nice job.